Awesome. So we are live. Tonight's live is going to be around if you feel like you're stuck in your coaching business. Maybe not even in your coaching business, but also if you just feel like you're stuck in life a little bit. So I want to start off with a question. Have you ever looked at your coaching business and you thought to yourself that you should be a bit further along in your business by now? So it might be the situation. Maybe you've signed some clients. Maybe you've had some wins. You're in that position where you know that the business can work. It excites you, but getting clients isn't consistent. So one month you're celebrating, everything's amazing, but then the next month it feels like you're panicking, and maybe deep down you're starting to think to yourself, why does it feel like I'm starting from scratch every single month? And you might have even wondered, is it you? Do you just not have what it takes to have a coaching business? Do you not have what it takes to stand out in such a crowded space? If that resonates with you, then I want you to know you're not alone. I've been there, and I've worked with a lot of other coaches who feel exactly the same way. But what I've noticed is this. So there's inconsistency, self-doubt, and that constant stop-start cycle, it usually comes down to one thing, and that is which one of the four type of coaches are you operating as? So what I want to do in this video is I want to help you figure out which type of coach you are right now, and more importantly, I want you to look at how you can step into the kind of coach, one that creates a consistent, confident, and thriving coaching business. So we're going to break this down into what I call the 4As. Now, before we do, I just want to let you know at the time of recording this, I am going to be running a workshop at the start of September. So I think it's the 11th of September here in Australia. So that'll be the 10th of September over in the States. What I'll do is, if you're interested in it, it's a 2-hour workshop. It's completely free. If you're interested in attending that, then if you head over to Instagram, so follow me on Anthony Lay Speaks, and just comment workshop underneath any of my posts, my little AI chatbot thing will send you out the link so that you can register to claim your seat at the workshop. So just head over to Instagram, that one there, comment the word workshop on any one of my posts, and the little AI thing should do its thing and then send you a link. I have got a QR code, but I think there's no point in putting it up because I don't think it works on YouTube. So let's get into the 4As. I've actually made a little slide for this. So the 4As, or the 4 types. So after 15 years of working with people on stages and in business, I can tell you that almost every single coach falls into one of these categories, one of these 4. So as I go through them, I'm going to go through them one at a time. I'm going to explain what type of person they are, and I want you to see if you resonate with any of these. So the first type, so the first, I say the 4As, so the first A is the avoider. Now, the avoider says, let me come back up full screen actually. So the avoider, now they say that they want a really thriving coaching business, but their actions, they tell a completely different story. Like the picture here, it's like they've got their head in the sand. They hide instead of showing up. They end up waiting for referrals instead of building an audience, and they dream about clients just landing in their lap, but they won't do the uncomfortable things that actually start to make these things happen. And here's what I've noticed with the avoiders. When things don't work out, avoiders, they don't look at themselves. Instead, let me pop that off the screen there. Let me just take the thingamajiggy down. There we go, there. So the avoiders, they won't look at themselves. Instead, they point the finger. They point the finger externally. They moan that nothing ever works out for them. They blame the algorithm. They blame the market. They blame the world. And it's always something outside of them. They're never to blame. But here's the truth. Avoidance keeps you safe in the short term, but it keeps you stuck forever. So if you're the avoider, it will feel safe in the short term, but it's going to keep you stuck forever. And if we're going to be really honest, we're going to be brutally honest here. If you stay an avoider, coaching is always going to feel like a side hustle. It's never going to feel like a real business to you. So that is number one. That is the avoider. Type number two is the analyzer. So these coaches, they're smart, they're capable. And honestly, with the analyzers, honestly, some of them, they do make it. But it's painfully slow for them because they're addicted to information. They read, they watch, they research, they tweak, they plan, but they rarely take momentum building action. So analyzers, they will overthink every single post, every single price, every single offer. The inner voice, what the inner voice is saying is, what if I'm not ready yet? What if this flops? What if people judge me? What if this doesn't work out? And here's the trap that analyzers fall into. Analyzers, they consume far more than they create. They stay stuck in perfectionism. They trick themselves into believing that they're being productive when the reality is that they're just procrastinating. But it's just procrastination with a bit of a prettier label. And deep down, analyzers, they feel that frustration. They've got this thing that's saying, I know what to do, but I just can't seem to do it consistently. Meanwhile, you've got other coaches that are taking messy action, and even if they're not perfect, they're still getting results. And that's what really eats away at the analyzer, because the analyzers are really smart, and they're smart enough to see everything, but they just get really stuck in their own cycle. So that's the analyzer. And I was an analyzer for quite a long time. I would overconsume on content, thinking that I needed to know more information before I actually took action. So let's get into the third type. The third type of coach is the action taker. Now, this one sounds good. This one sounds good. Now, on the surface, yes, it is. It is good on the surface. See, action takers, they don't sit around waiting. They try, they test, they launch, they fail fast. They're not paralyzed by overthinking. Instead, the action takers, they actually move. And honestly, I'd take being an action taker over being an avoider or an analyzer any day, because at least things are starting to happen. At least you're in the game. But here's the reality. This is also, so the action taker, this is also where it starts to feel really hard. See, action takers, they throw spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. But without a clear system, it just ends up being chaos. They're hustling, they're grinding, they're doing all of the things. And look, while that creates movement, it doesn't create stability. And that's when the thought starts to creep in. Because a lot of us, we start our coaching business for freedom, for a lifestyle, for balance. But instead, when you're an action taker, you can start to feel trapped. It can feel like you're on a hamster wheel, just constantly having to work really hard, constantly having to hustle. And yes, you end up working harder than ever, but the business still feels fragile. And I suppose the really scary part with this is you end up wondering, how long can I actually keep this up? How long can I actually keep hustling, keep feeling this way, keep sweating it out? So I just want to before we get into the fourth one, I just want to take a real quick moment here to just recap over the three that we've covered. So we had the avoider, the analyzer, and the action taker. So if you're an avoider, see this as you're hiding, you're blaming, you're waiting, which means that you'll never really get any traction. If you're an analyzer, then you're overthinking. You're consuming more than you create, which means that you're going to stay stuck in the almost ready category. If you're an action taker, you're moving, you're hustling, which is better, but without clarity, you're exhausted and you're wondering how long you can actually keep this up. You're staying up till really late, you're getting up really early, you're constantly working on your business. And here's the thing. Every coach that I've ever worked with has spent time in one or more of these phases. It's all just part of the journey. But there is a fourth type. And the fourth type is the one that you're aiming for. And you might find that you you're a 4 for a while, and then you might dip backwards for a bit. But we want to try and get as consistently as possible to the 4th one. And the 4th one is the accomplisher, or the ace. I'm going to go for the accomplisher. So the accomplisher doesn't just take action. They take aligned action. They've moved past avoidance. They've stopped drowning in overthinking, and they've channeled that hustle into something that is way more predictable. So accomplishers, they have this clarity. They know their offer, they know their message, they know their system. They have consistency. They're not riding the roller coaster of clients 1 minute and then no clients the next. Their business, it feels stable, not fragile. And they have confidence. And they show up as the go-to in their space, not just as another coach who is fighting for scraps of attention. Now, most importantly, the accomplisher finally has what you wanted from the start. The accomplisher has that freedom, the impact, the lifestyle. You're no longer hustling to survive. Instead, you're leading, you're building, you're proud of the business that you've created. So let's paint the picture. Let's visualize this a little bit. We should imagine that instead of waking up with that anxious knot in your stomach, thinking, whereabouts my next client's coming from, imagine that you wake up knowing that your systems are bringing them in. Instead of spending hours creating content and praying that the algorithm is kind to you, you've got an audience that actually engages, an audience that trusts you and reaches out because they see you as the expert. Instead of constantly second guessing yourself, thinking, is my pricing right? Is my offer good enough? You're able to stand firm. You stand grounded because you've got proof, you've got clients, you've got consistency. And instead of coaching feeling like a really fragile side hustle, you start to feel valued, respected even. You feel like an established coach. You've built a business that gives you freedom, impact, and the lifestyle that you wanted when you started. That's what it means to be an accomplisher. It's not about doing more. It's about finally doing the right things in the right way with the right energy. So you're doing the right things in the right way with the right energy. And I suppose the best part here with all of this is this isn't just the lucky few that end up like this. It's a shift that you can choose to make. And when you do, everything starts to change. I remember when I very first got into the speaking world, and it was really hard initially trying to get the speaking gigs. And I was hustling all of the time. I was just, it felt like I was on this hamster wheel. But then all of a sudden, once I realized the actions that I needed to take in order to get more speaking gigs, all of a sudden it clicked into place and the speaking gigs just started coming to me but they weren't just falling in my lap. It was because everything I'd lined up, all of my ducks in a row. I was taking very deliberate action. And because of that, I've then ended up speaking on stages for the last 15 years, and I haven't been hustling to get the work. It's just been coming in. So when you can get to that place, and it is about finding your own systems, it is about figuring out whereabouts you're wasting time, whereabouts your time is better focused. Look, I want to wrap this up. Remember, there is the workshop that is coming up. I'll just put my handle back up there again. There is the free workshop that is coming up in September. So September the 11th in Australia. It'll be the 10th of September if you're over in the States. It's going to be a 2-hour free storytelling workshop. Going to show you how to create the 3 stories that every single coach needs to have. So head over to Anthony Lay Speaks on Instagram, comment the word workshop. My little AI thing will then send you the link so that you can register, and you'll then get sent out the link for the Zoom workshop. It's going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to it and getting some people on board. And this is going to be a very hands-on workshop. We're actually going to be creating a business story for you within the workshop. So it's not a sit and listen. It is a sit and do kind of workshop. So to wrap this up, let me ask you this question. Which one of the 4 types are you? Are you the avoider? hiding, blaming, waiting? Are you the analyzer? Are you overthinking too much at the moment? Are you stuck in that almost ready space? Are you the action taker? So you're working really hard, but you're starting to feel exhausted. You're wondering how long you can keep this up. Or are you the accomplisher or ready to step into the accomplisher? So to really sit down with and go through your processes with clarity so that you can create the consistency and the confidence that the coaching business is going to work for you. Because the truth is, you don't have to stay whereabouts you are. Every coach goes through these stages, but the difference between those who kind of plateau out at that 2 to 4K month space and those who build a thriving 6-figure business is that they choose to become accomplishers. They choose to step into that, really look at their systems. And that's exactly what we do inside Mind Academy. It's where you stop hiding and stop second guessing, and you stop hustling without direction, and you start building the business that you actually wanted when you started, a business that feels solid, predictable, and powerful. So look, if that speaks to you, head over to Instagram. There's the thingamajiggy there. Shoot me a message and we can have a chat about what it looks like to work together. But before you go, make sure you give the video a little like. If you're not subscribed yet on the channel, then please make sure that you do. It does help other people find this content, those people who might need to see it. But if you've been here live, thanks very much. Great to have you on board. If you're watching the replay, maybe come and join me live next time. All right, see you soon.